Hello and welcome back to Suspense Animation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and this is Lovecraft Country, Season 1, Episode 1, Sundown. That's right, it is the series premiere, basically on HBO Max here. Let me take care of a little bit of business first, and then we'll get to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, you're going to see a video pop up at the very end here. If you like what you see there, hit the subscribe button down there. And if you want to know when I'm going to be live again next, you can hit the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule that's up there. I change it out every week, usually on Monday. So tomorrow, hopefully, I change it out. And I also have all the links to my social media. So Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, no tier set up in the Patreon. And I have links to this YouTube page, my Facebook page, and a Facebook group page if you guys still have it to post stuff and talk amongst yourselves. All right. Spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the episode. If you have not seen the episode, go and see it. Come on back. This will be a video you can comment down below in the comment section. All right. So this has been getting, I guess, some controversial stuff. I've been seeing, reviews all this week from larger sites, and it's been 50-50 split on this. Like half are hating it and the other half are loving it, and they're going back and forth on it. Honestly, I'm going to say right now, I love it. I liked what I saw. It does not varnish what was, what has gone on and is still going on in this country, racism wise. And it doesn't really need to, quite honestly. And um, it's not one of those things. I'm bringing this up right now because I know that's going to be the crux of this series. That's what people are going to focus on. And because it is part of the series, it is, part of the series here. But yeah, it honestly, it doesn't over exaggerate things, and it honestly doesn't shy away from things either, and sugarcoat things. So it is what it is. uh and yeah. And so, by the way, I am not going to say there's a copious amount of n-word usage in that. I am not saying that word, of course. I will say n-word if, and there's only one instance in this that I have to say this. So that's where I'm using it, because honestly, it's a vulgar word. Uh, I don't like using it. I have never used it, and yeah, it's just something that I'm not going to go with. But let's go back to this series and what this whole series is about. So this whole series is about Atticus Freeman, and he's searching for his father Montrose, who has gone missing. And Montrose has actually gone off to go in search of Atticus's or Tick's mom. Um, and she's passed away, of course, and he's been delving into her ancestry. And supposedly it's tied to Lovecraft Country, which is someplace in Devon County. Yeah. Jay Hicks says, I'm going to give it a few episodes before I give my verdict. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm a little bit late too, honestly, because this I didn't realize that it was going to run over about 10 minutes, and I had this set for 7:15 because I wasn't too sure. I know some episodes are an hour, some episodes are a little bit longer than an hour. So yeah, I apologize. And then also they just had shit for, photos and stuff like that for the thumbnail. So I had to make my own, is what I did. Yeah. So going back to the story, so Atticus or Tick is, searching for his father, who has disappeared at this point, and he's enlisted his uncle's help, George Freeman, and also a former girl that he grew up with in Chicago, Letitia, and she is going with them as well. And they're all heading into Lovecraft Country. So Tick has actually come back from the Korean War, and he has his own demons that are chasing him with that as well. And he is a big fan of sci-fi, pulpy stuff. So this is where Lovecraft comes into this. And he and his uncle George have actually George has a whole bunch of books as well as Tick as well, and he's been essentially reading all this stuff. And yes, there is racism throughout those pulpy things, but as he says, sometimes you need to separate the person from the story, and is what he's saying in this. And this is no way whitewashing what these guys have done. And I mean, at one point, he even says his father Montrose, when he found out that he was reading H.P. Lovecraft, he made him sit down and read H.P. Lovecraft's book, Creation of a N Word, and to try him and basically show him what a horrible person H.P. Lovecraft was. And he says, yes, he is a horrible person, but he wrote some really damn good stories too. So that's why he kept reading them and why they were still his favorites. And yeah, so it was kind of interesting. And George, in the meantime, is writing a guidebook for Black people in the United States that are traveling the United States, especially in the South, because it's not because of the Jim Crow laws. It's a very dangerous place to be caught in certain places if you are a person of color. That's pretty much how it is. And we see this throughout this episode as they are traveling down south to go and look for Artem, which is what Montrose has actually uh, sent Atticus to go and find him. Well, basically, he was inviting Atticus to come with him to go and find this place, which is where his mom's ancestry came from. So yeah, the blue book Lero, the blue book, or green book maybe. I don't know. So yes, these guidebooks were actually real. So the book that George is writing, they were totally real. These actually did, they existed. They had to, because there are, as the title of this episode is called Sundown, it's in reference to sundown towns. Sundown towns are where, when the sun went down, if you were a person of color and you were there, you were lynched. You were killed because you were a person of color in that town after dark, because they thought that no good ever came from a person of color being in their town. That's what it came down to. Um, and of course, they are in Devon County looking for this bridge at one point. And I mean, they're getting out of the car, they're looking and not finding it. And they run into a cop, or he runs into them, I should say. And it's a sheriff that they've been warned about, Sheriff Hunt, who has disappeared a lot of people at that time. And he basically tells them they have 7 minutes until sundown and they better get the hell out because it's Sundown County. So they are trying to get their way out with him on their tail, ramming them and stuff like that. And they cross over the county line with seconds to spare, only to run into a roadblock of cops in the next county, which of course Sheriff Hunt has called them in on. And this is where we get the Lovecraftian part coming in. Is they've been taken out to the woods. They're going to be executed. And they hear something out in the woods, all these cops. And one cop gets his arm ripped off. Other cops start getting chewed on, and Letitia and Tick start running for it. George is running too, but he trips, falls, and he stays where he is. And Letitia and Tick make it to a cabin. They get in there. And of course, the sheriff, who's been bitten, he's got a big chunk taken out of his shoulder, and another cop make it in as well. And George ends up making it back too. He's got a flashlight in his hand, and he comes up with a theory that the reason why they didn't see these creatures when they were driving around all day is because it was the light. They are actually light sensitive, and if they can make it to the car, they can get the hell out of there because the car has lights and whatnot. So Tick was going to do this, but Sheriff Hunt's like, no. He sends Letitia out instead. And Letitia sees firsthand one of these creatures when she finally gets to the car and turns out the headlights dig into the ground. And I mean, these are huge creatures. There's some good special effects. And quite honestly, throughout this entire episode, you get this sense of dread. You get this feeling of oppression. You get this feeling of fear, quite honestly. and that's what it's supposed to be. You're supposed to have that. And the horror of all of this comes not just from the creatures that you see that are doing, some of these munchings and whatnot, but also from the people. Just, you know, the people and their actions towards, other human beings. And yeah, and it's fairly well set up. So we see that the sheriff actually ends up turning because of his bite and takes out the other cop. And Letitia rams the car into the cabin, and they're surrounded by these creatures at this point. And there's a whistle that goes off, and we see the creatures all leave when the whistle happens. And um, sun up comes, and they're walking. They make it to the bridge they were trying to find to begin with. They make it across the bridge, and they find this gigantic house, and they go inside. They go knock on the door, and the door opens up, and there's this guy there, and there's a silver car that's outside too, that we had seen throughout the episode, that we know that Montrose had gotten into. And the guy who opens up the door, this blonde dude, says, hello, Mr. Freeman, we've been expecting you, welcome home. And that's how the episode ends. Some of the things that I really loved about this episode is Dee, who is George Freeman's daughter. She's an artist, and she's also, she's looking at the stars as well and things like this. She's drawing comics for him as he's going out on the road. So one of the things that she was drawing was a comic called Panther Man, which might sound a little familiar. And then, of course, she ends up writing a comic for him, the last comic that she gives him before he goes on the road there, a comic about a space girl who drives a Buick spaceship and all this stuff, which is really kind of cool. And just seeing the little things that, make this up, and their world building right now. And yes, this is one episode in, but I can see that it's actually fairly well thought out, and it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. And then also, what I pulled my thumbnail from for this episode, for the beginning here, is actually taken from Tick's dream in the very beginning. He's on the bus, and he's fighting in the trenches, and he comes up out of the trenches and sees like these Cthulhu creatures flying, UFOs, and he sees this alien princess being transported down and all this stuff. And it's Jamie Chung, by the way, who is the Martian princess, which is great to see Jamie Chung, working again, because she kind of disappeared after that X-Men TV show, the one that was pretty bad on Fox. Yeah. She played Blink. She did a great job on that, but still. Yeah, so we get a little bit of what his mindset is, and then also, the bus breaking down and all the white folks getting a trip into town where the two persons of color need to carry their stuff and walk, which, was really shitty at that point. So, good episode. Like I said, good world building. We got introduced to the characters in this. We're going to get more into these characters as well. I love Courtney B. Vance, by the way, too, who is George Freeman. And of course, Journey Smollett. I always fuck up her name. I'm sorry. But yeah, so good actors. I don't know who Jonathan Majors is, but he looks like he's going to be a great actor in this as well. He plays Tick, of course. And yeah, some good stuff. So I know, Jay Hicks, you said you're going to wait a few more episodes before you give your verdict. Anybody else out there, my lurkers, that have seen it, yay or nay on this? What do you guys think about it so far? I mean, it's an interesting concept. The whole thing with the silver car, this weird county that was founded by witch hunters, um, Devon County. And this is where, Tick's mother has come from. So this is a kind of an interesting concept. All this stuff we get thrown into the first episode. There was a lot of stuff. I actually have 2 pages worth of notes here, and I was kind of going back and forth. Do I do a recap? Do I do a review? Do I do a recap? So I decided with a kind of a bastardized recap with a review in there. So that's why I got the last scene kind of recapped out there for you, because the last scene really kind of goes into your whole Lovecraftian thing going on there. So yeah, we don't know what those creatures are either. If they are actually vampires or if they are just tunneling creatures or what. But yeah, they were fucking horrifying because I mean they're getting shot with shotguns and not going down. And light was the only thing that was kind of hurting them, but wasn't taking them out. So I guess it was sunlight that you need in order to do that. And we'll find out more. And there's no trailer, by the way, for the second episode as of yet. I was looking for that as well. Then I didn't see it, but hey. So I got nobody saying anything, huh? Nobody's gonna give a yay or nay on that one. All right. Fine, be that way. What else do I have going on this week? Well, tomorrow I'm gonna be off. Tuesday is gonna be another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And this time I'm gonna do Project Power, which is on Netflix right now. That's yeah, Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Jamie Foxx on there. Wednesday I'm going to be off. Thursday I'm going to do another Is It Worth My Time, and this time it's going to be Being John Malkovich. Yeah. Friday I'm off, and then Saturday is Saturday Morning Blast Off, where I take the genre news of the week and any other genre stuff you guys want to talk about, and we talk about it. And then Sunday we roll back around again to Lovecraft Country. So Apple Crow says, still not sure HBO Max is worth it. It really isn't, Apple Crow, but I was already subscribed to HBO, so it just kind of rolled over into it. Yeah, and I'm disappointed in the quality that they put out. I really want it to be in 4K, like DC Universe. Which, by the way, I need to cancel my DC Universe subscription now that they're not going to be doing any kind of, you know, uh, live shows or anything like that. Raymond K. Hessel says, I just heard this existed. Cooking Brats. Cheers to you, mate. Hey, Raymond, how's it going? Good on you cooking the brats there. But yeah, give it a shot if you haven't seen it yet. It's good stuff. It's different. And yes, it is going to be a little bit controversial. I don't know why it should be controversial. It's just basically showing us what was already out there. I knew a lot of this stuff. I learned about it, you know, not so much in school. This is outside extracurricular. I had heard about it from different people that, you know, as I was growing up. And then again, when I was in college, you know, I got exposed to it more and all that stuff of what was going on. So, yeah, I mean, um, it's not like in your face, like, oh my God, here. It's, you know, showing you matter of factly, this is what happened. This was reality for a lot of people. And, you know, still is for some people. So, yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to let you guys go then for the night. I want to thank everybody who joined me tonight in the chat. You know, all you lurkers out there too. I can see how many people are on here. That's why I know there's lurkers out there. And thank you if you made it this far in the video. And if you want to know, you know, basically like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. If you like what you see there, hit the subscribe button. If you want to know when I'm be on live again next, hit the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule that's up there and also all the links to my social media and Facebook pages for you guys, group pages. And also up here is going to be Saturday Morning Blast Off is what's going to come up there for you. So with that, thank you, everybody. I'm going to let you guys go. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may get trapped in a cabin with a fucking crazy ass redneck sheriff who, you know, is trying to kill you, but also wants to save his own ass. Yeah. Anyway, thanks, everybody. Have a good night. I will see you on Tuesday. Until then, have a good night. Good night.